Alright, okay, take two.
Let's do it.
Round
You want me to turn the computer out?
two. I can't even see it.
Okay. My name is Facundo Gimenez. I'm from Argentina and I'm 32 years old. My grandma, she was a singer. My aunts, my mother, from the side of my dad too, gauchos, bailarines de malambo dancers. My mother, she's a choreographer and she used to dance jazz, tap, and flamenco. And my dad, he used to dance malambo from Argentina. It's a folkloric dance that require a lot of rhythm, percussion, and it's very energetic dance. So it's kind of like the flamenco from Argentina. When I started growing and I become more mature, I started seeing that sometimes I attempt to tag myself. Oh, I am this, or I do this, or I do that. So I was tagging myself as a clown. I'm a comedian, a physical comedian, but then when I started exploring more and more with photography, with the music, with the DJ sets, and editing, and directing, and doing other things, and I take it more professionally. I say maybe I should say that I'm an artist. Since I say that, my artistic life changed, and I become more artistic. I can express myself free, with anything that I want. So since I started doing that, I started mixing clown with a lot of things, with photography, with films, directing my own short films, and doing other kind of stuff.
So let's go back to those young days where you were an entertainer. What kind of stuff were you doing? Where were you working?
Well, I started working as a clown when I was 9 years old. It was not very professional, but it was my first gig. I remember Los Enanitos de Oro, some characters, some well-known in the traditional circus. The guy, Tony, he gave me a red nose. So, you call Tony, that will be your name. You will be like me. So, I took his name for a little bit, and I started playing, in a very small roles as a clown. But also at the same time, I was doing trapeze, acrobacy, and malambo too. So I was doing traditional circus. I did traditional circus until the age of maybe 21, and since then I started putting myself in other different platforms, like theater, like some gigs in the street, or videos, or films, or commercials, whatever comes in my way.
Being that you came from a very artistic background, with your family, is that something that you knew you were going into, or did you ever feel like, okay, maybe I want to go in a different direction?
Well, I took the flow. Like, I was a child and growing up with a family, dysfunctional family, a crazy family, touring around Argentina with a circus. So for me it was awesome, So I started learning different things in the circus, and I started loving the passion of traditional circus. How people love what they do and they live for their art. They just live for their art. Sometimes in other scales, we see circus or contemporary circus as a work, but not a way of living, just as a work. They come, they put the car in, they check in, and they play their instrument or they do whatever they do, and that's what they do. But something that I admire from people from traditional circus, they live for circus. It's their life.
So at what point in life did you set up sort of like a goal? Like, this is where I want to be in 5-10 years?
Well, my first dream was Cirque du Soleil. And I got it in a very young age. My first show was Windhoek at the age of 21. I got the opportunity to create one of the main roles from the beginning of the creation. So wow, it was like something very fun, and like I was living my dream.
Sort of talk a little bit about that experience.
Okay, we arrived to Montreal. We did in that time the fastest creation in the company. We prepare in that time. I think Kusa was getting ready in Montreal in the studios. So we use a studio in Porto Trump in the Bay of Montreal, and we stayed there for a few months. I don't remember, maybe it was like 3 months, 4 months creation, and then we moved to Madison Square Garden where we did the rehearsals. And I was lucky to have the opportunity to work with Don Rieger. He's an awesome clown coach, and we create this character. I said, okay, let's walk that way. Okay, no, let's try another way of walk. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, we're proposing stuff and moving with the volumes of your body, and trying to connect with something genuine. The character's name was Wimpy. Was a very shy guy from the office, and he was afraid to everything. So if he will see his own shadow, he will start getting like paranoid. And also was 4 dogs, acrobats dressing as dogs, and the relationship was kind of like the dogs loved Wimpy, but Wimpy was so afraid to the dogs. And also Wimpy was the best friend of the main character, Jamie. He was the kid that wanted to see the snow, and it's where the shaman will take him in a journey and drive to the city of Winter and meet the land of Windhoek. Then is when we met the snow, and also was another fourth character was the little dancer, and she was having kind of like a love story with the little boy. And yeah, so I did that show for 4 seasons. I make a lot of great friends there.
So how does someone who is obviously, if you're in clowning, you're not shy. So how does someone who is not shy play a character who is?
Well, it depends on how elastic you are. I feel like if we all have a percentage of shy or naive or innocence or I don't know, naughty or any other percentage of different things. So it's just taking that inspiration and make it more full all the time, more present all the time. So yeah, it's just kind of like taking your personal also experience in your life when you're shy. What happened when you're shy? You start changing the position of your body, and your body's telling to you, like, okay, where I'm going, okay, I'm shy, and you start playing a little bit with that, and you have to explore. That's why it was very nice to do the creation in Montreal, because give me the chance in those 4 months to explore a lot and try to play those volumes from a very genuine place. So, work.
And then, when did you audition? From when you auditioned to when you got the role of Wimpy, how far was that?
They called me right away. I was doing a tour in Mexico with a Familia Fuentes Gasca. It's a very famous family that they have circus in Colombia, Venezuela, Mexico, traditional circus. And I heard about the audition, so Estrella Fuentes, the owner of the show, she allowed me to go to Mexico. So I flew to Mexico, and I took the audition. Was like 3 days the audition, and was like a big group of clowns, actors, mimes, and was maybe like 100. And from those 100, in the end, they keep 5, and I was one of those 5s. And after 3 months, they call me and they call Norma Angelica. She was the first shaman of Windhoek, and And then the second and the third and the fourth season, they brought Laure Fortain, I think. She was a singer in many different shows of Cirque du Soleil. So they add the singing part for the shaman role. So yeah, they called me after 3 months. After a couple of years, I started seeing, okay, what is next? Okay, I did that. What is next? Okay, now I want to do my solo show, or I want to create more characters. So in between of Wintuk, that was a seasonal show, I was going back to Mexico where I was touring with my family in traditional circus. So I was applying whatever I was learning in Cirque du Soleil, and I was applying that knowledge in traditional circus. So I was creating characters and giving a different flavor of what a way of presenting clown and traditional circus. The traditional circus, you would have more the red nose and the colors and the costume. But I took more like a European style of characters, and I put it on traditional circus in Latin America. So that for me was something that that people are knowing me in Latin America because I was trying, I was applying something that I was not used to do in traditional circus. So everything was okay. And then they called me for Dragon.
What did you do in Dralion, or what was your character?
So I was doing Giovanni. Was a group of 4 clowns in the show. One was the Big Papa, was the big brother. All of us will speak like Italian. So this guy was a Big Papa. Hey, Giovanni, come vai? And I was the little one, so I was kind of having a contrast with the voice. My voice was like kind of like Vincenti, come vai? Una cosa bella, bellissimo. So it was more like high pitch, and he was huge. So I was creating like the big brother, the small brother, and the stupid brother. The stupid brother was the guy that he had like a bowling ball in his hand. So he was walking around. Michael Hugh was the first. Alberti was the name of the character, but actually the creator is John Gilkey, and he was telling me that one of his tricks was like to imagine that he was watching butterflies. So that was like kind of giving a type of unfocused vision. And I said, wow, this guy is in another dimension. No, I'm here, but just I'm watching the butterflies. So that was a very important key for his character. You know, you use keys to help you to connect. For example, my key for Giovanni was my eyes. So my inspiration was my little niece. And every time that I was watching, she was like maybe like 3 years old. And every time that I was watching, she was with her eyes up and like big eyes. So I said, okay, you will be my inspiration, you know. And that time she was little, so I took her eyes and I make, you know, the soul of the character. And also because Giovanni was like a little kid and very naughty, so I was like playing around and showing like flash, and he got like real flash. He was not showing anything, like flash, and I have that trigger, so I was like making the people from the audience blind. I have a lot of like tricks in my pockets, and I have like confetti, and so everything that was nice, I was like throwing confetti, and I have also a wedding bell. So I was choosing some woman from the audience and some specific moment in the animation. I will marry her in front of everyone, and you would throw me confetti as a rice. It was very nice. So and the fourth character was a guy from the audience. That was my main partner. This character Giovanni, the creator was Joe DePaul, like 20 years ago, and when I knew that I would play that character, for me was like, oh my god, I have to fit their shoes, the shoes of Joe DePaul, and Joe DePaul is an awesome comedian or clown. So I had to work a lot to do the things right. And I did that tour for 4 years. We did arena. We did the arena tour.
So when you took over, were you allowed to somehow add Facundo into this character that was already sort of created by someone else?
I think when you play clown, your essence is there, and I think the best direction from your artistic director is to allow you to play your essence, because that's is a true clown. You're not talking about a man doing a job of an actor and playing a role. You're talking about clown. That is a completely different story. So even if we can play with the volumes of the voice, or the texture of the movement of your body, but your essence is your essence, and you have to bring as pure you can. So for sure, in each of my characters, I have my essence is present.
So you were with Leon for 4 years, and then what came after that?
Well, we finished the tour in Alaska, and before we finished the tour in Alaska with Dralion, I received for a few months before, I received the offer for Hocus Pocus.
No way! For Zarkana?
Sarkana.
For Hocus or Pocus?
It's a small one. I don't know what.
Pocus.
Focus.
Oh my
He
God.
knows more than I checked my email after 2 weeks, and they, like, oh, sorry, man, you're not answering for our call. You're taking another person, and that's like, nah. So I was kind of very sad because the show driving was finishing, and I was getting worried. What I would do now? I've gone back to Mexico. I was not as solid with my own stuff yet, so I lose that chance. But in the end, finishing Alaska, they invite me to record myself and play the character, the comic.
You must be joking. You must be joking. Every cloud has a silver lining. You checked it. I've got tears of joy. Every cloud has a silver lining. You must be joking. You checked it. You must be joking. You checked it. You must be joking. You checked it. Inside out. Inside out. You must be joking.
So I empty my room, and I just left the couch, and I record myself with my own ears, and I play the cat routine. And after a few days, they say, yes, you have the character. So that was great. But back then, 2 years and a half, my English was now it's bad, but before was even worse. So you say, okay, I never play a show in another language that is not my native language. So okay, there we go. Let's go to work again. So day and night, seeing the scripts and try to play with the accent. Cirque du Soleil support me with a diction coach to pronounce everything right and the accentuations, and so that took me a lot of effort. But in this point, after almost 2 years and a half, I feel so comfort with the character. It's so much space to play because you can play this character vocally, you can play this character dancing because in some part of the show we dance. You can play this character with a very pure physical techniques. In the cat act, for example, I play a bird, I play a T-Rex, I play a cat. So it's a very, very rich and the possibilities of what you can do with your body. For sure, it takes you a lot of work to arrive to that point when you're like pure connect, and you're not thinking anymore of what you're doing. You're just living it, and I think I'm in that point. I feel like very, very relaxed. You guys saw the premiere the other day. What was the soft premiere? And you can see the reactions. You can hear the reactions in the crowd, and I feel very, very, very glad, that Cirque du Soleil gave me that opportunity, and for sure that the people like it. That's the main thing. Also, when you see the reactions, and I don't play for the reactions. I just play to share some things that come from my heart. Just show my heart, and then the reactions is something that come after. So, but seeing that the reactions, even without asking, they're there, it's just kind of like, okay, it's a cling checkpoint.
So when talking about the comic, obviously we're talking about Kurios,
Mm-hmm.
which is the show that you're currently in.
Mm-hmm.
Which, just a personal comment, I'd never seen the show before. Just this Saturday was the first time, and yes, like you said, the audience just absolutely loved it, and it's hilarious. But one thing that I noticed is that you do get to use your body a lot more than compared to your other roles, and also you sort of speak more, and so just talk a little bit about that. How different it is for someone. When people think of clowning, you don't necessarily think of a clown speaking.
In the old-fashioned, clowns used to speak. Use a lot of big props and speak. More than this character is selling the invisible circus that maybe I would pronounce it wrong, but in the old circus was the flea circus, maybe? The flea circus. So that connect with my side that is like traditional circus kid. So that for me was nice because I started doing clown, like talking clown, when I was little, in Spanish, but I was talking. So kind of I kind of like awoke the feeling again of like talking and express myself with the voice. I was doing it also shiverish and the other roles, but it's very playful. The gibberish can go anywhere, whatever you will say. If it's right, apply the technique, it's okay. But this one is very precise. But it's like like any other muscle. You practice by repetition, you will get it. So I don't know. You understand me perfect in the show?
Yeah, I did.
Do you? Okay. And people got all the shows. So when you saw the show in Denver, that was kind of the beginning of all this process. And also, we changed artistic directors, and each artistic director, they have a different approach with the artist. And I feel now this new artistic director is like allowing me to to play a little bit more and be more free. So that also I'm more relaxed.
I actually made a comment to Dario when I was seeing is that I love the way you moved, as that character, and also did you have to take any sort of voice lessons? Not like with you mentioned with English classes or diction.
Yeah, I took voice lessons too with a Cirque coach.
Because I love that part of the character as well, because obviously I know what your voice sounds like, and in the show it's just I don't know, can you do a little bit of the voice?
Well, we're in an hotel room, so I don't know if it will be too loud, but it's more like how you place the voice is more kind of like coming from your stomach. So using the diaphragm is pushing, so you sit in the voice there, so you're not playing by your voice, by your throat. It's here. And also like there you can play with so many other things. It's like ladies and gentlemen. It's a little bit kind of like that for sure. Now I'm not warm and I'm not using the microphone, but it's that kind of modulation.
Ladies and ladies, tonight, and especially for you, we present an incredible show, the likes of which you have never seen and you will never see. The Invisible Circus!
Going to the cat scene. How much of it is improvised?
Since the beginning, when I arrived, or improvise since the creation?
Well, how about both? From when you took over, again, what are some of the things that you made it you, and then every night, I'm sure it's different because you do have an audience member. How much of it is actually improvised, and then also how do you deal with situations where are not going the way that necessarily go or the way they're intended to go?
Well, in the beginning, that was I set up my mind somehow that was a problem. Oh my God, the audience member is not doing what I am telling them to do, But then with the time and doing repetitions of shows, and people are being reacting different ways and not just listen to me. Some of them are like listening too much, so that's like kind of like oh, please give me a space, or like some people will touch me, in a different ways, or like some girls will stand up and leave the stage. It's okay, so I have to use my imagination and my creativity and find a way to end the routine. And this it's not that you have plan B's for everything. So you have to be ready to improvise. And also, like, for sure, like, I have a career of 22 years already, since I was 9, 8. So I have enough material in my head to deal with that. But in the first question that you asked me, how the routine changed from the beginning, and I think it's small things, but it's more the way of saying the things that I think the character grows so much that now I can take the idea and play it as 20 different ways, but it's more the intention, So I'm more connected with the character. I'm showing myself more with the modulation of the character. With the volume of the character, but I'm totally present on stage now. So every show will be different, and it's kind of the same routine. It's just 2 years. It's not much.
And I know you're a professional, and you take your job seriously, but I'm sure there are times where you're just not feeling well or tired. How do you deal with that, and how do you keep yourself motivated?
Not going too deep in the clown philosophy, but yes, it happened many times, and as soon this feeling of feeling like not motivated or out of place, I try to go to the basis to connect with my breathing. This is something that I teach in my classes all the time, and the emptiness, the silence more than the noise or the action, just what is in between. And you can hear so many different things that's kind of like, okay, that's information here that I can use. It's just it's a different audience, it's a different reaction, it's a different atmosphere. So by doing that, is I try to motivate myself awake in every show and renew the energy. But sometimes physically is tough. When it's physically tough, I have to calm down with the let's say the energy of the character. I would tell being the same person, but maybe more calm. I would say, ladies and gentlemen, and I will just use the energy that I have in the moment. Because if I force and I try to do it the same way how I do it every day, will be not genuine. Will be something that is out. He looked like he's pushing, and this is when you start getting injured, or when you start feeling that you're forcing your voice, or even your hips or your back or whatever. So it's like playing how I woke up that day.
What's your absolute favorite part of the show in Kurios?
Wow. I can tell you the part that I don't like. It's not that I don't like, but it's a lot of responsibility. And I mean, I love it, but sometimes it's a lot of pressure when I have to open the show. And I'm the first artist to, okay, that was the animation, just now is the show. And that's even if it's a very short introduction, but it's a very, very tough call. It's a very tough action, because you're breaking the ice, you're making them awake, or introduce them to the dream of Kurios. So that's a lot of responsibility there.
Are you talking about like when you say ladies and gentlemen?
Yeah, bienvenue to Cirque du Soleil.
I love that though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, don't think me wrong, I like it, but it's you have to be very sharp every day to make it genuine, because if not, the show will start like with a just announcement, like a radio station guy.
True.
You have to connect with them and tell them that how proud you are that tonight will have the best experience of their life. So you really need to talk with your chest open, with your heart. So, and sometimes it's like, okay, I need to motivate myself. I need to warm up, and I need to find what is the energy, and go ready with that motivation, that passion.
What I like is that it's not just a recording. Some shows do have just a recording that you hear, but you have an actual character from the show inviting you into the show. And not only that, I feel like it's sort of, you're already there, and you're already presenting that character to the audience, and they already know, well, this is someone that I should look out for. What are your plans? Do you plan on staying with Cirque for a little bit, or?
Well, like everything, I can stay here forever, and they treat me well. But in some point, I think I have to look for my own project, like my own ideas, and and suffer a little bit with the real world outside. I know it's a lot of work, but I'm working little by little to do that. I'm building my career as a director. I've been writing some stuff also. I'm teaching my own structure of teaching. I'm mixing now the neuroscience with clown. So this is a structure that actually we are presenting for the first time in 1 month in Mexico, in Guadalajara, called Neuroclown. So it's a lot of things. It's a big field there in the clown workshops. That what kind of a structure you want to teach? You just want to teach the philosophy or just you want to teach I don't know, the therapeutic, let's say, way of how you can heal, how you can help the people through the game of clown connect with their soul, you know, make an alliance again, a connection again with their inner child, you know. And I feel in these days we need that. We put so much masks, you know, on top of us because we are afraid to be vulnerable, you know. And I think it's very important if people feel comfort with their fragilities, you know, and being vulnerable and open their hearts to the world, and to that is I don't know, just it's beautiful when I can see a student that come to my class and, you know, I can help them little bit, you know, just awake little bit. That's the way. Maybe, you know, you can keep working on that and not play for the audience, you know, play with the audience, play with the world, not play for the world, you know, play with them, just be free. And to do that, it's a lot of dedication. So maybe I will open my academy in the future, academy of like clown academy, or, you know, production, a company also. So it's a lot of things that I can do. I'm not quite sure yet which one would be, but it's a lot of work to do.
So it sounds like you do a lot of projects outside of Cirque du Soleil. How do you find the time? Because you have a full-time job at Cirque, and all these projects, they also take up time.
Well, today is Sunday. Today I work in 2 shows. I mean, and we have 2 shows today. And after that, I came and I got a meeting. Actually, you catch me with the meeting that I got before on Skype with like the team that is selling my workshops in Mexico. And now I'm doing this interview. And maybe after you leave, I will, you know, do some work in my computer. So yes, it's a lot of work to do, you know. But always it depends of what your priorities are, you know. It's like, I don't know, I like to work. I'm a workaholic.
And so for people who might be interested in, you know, finding more about your workshops, where can they find all this information?
Well, normally I post everything on my Instagram page or my Facebook fan page. It's Facundo Gimenez official. So Gimenez, some people write it different, but my Gimenez, my last name, it's a Gimenez. Facundo Gimenez official. You can write it here. Can you see it here? And my Instagram is also Facundo Gimenez official.
So what would you say to those people who want to go into entertainment, clowning, be on stage?
Well, for those people that want to learn clown, acting, art in general, is, you know, it's not a manual where you will learn everything in a book. I think it's something that comes from a more inner place, and art is what will save the world. It's a way of expression. It's a way of communication. It's a way of healing. So whatever specific art you like, take it seriously and study and practice and explore, and don't be afraid, you know. Just do it. Do what you like to do.